So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Aniron here, and today it is time for me to bring you my first impressions on FIFA 19 career mode. For those that don't know, I was able to go to Germany and basically get some early footage and play the game a little bit earlier and all that sort of jazz. This video is brought to you by EA Game Changers, however it won't change my opinions and everything that I actually say in the video, so don't worry about that. But if you are looking ahead to FIFA 19 and want to know like every little single detail within the game, then obviously feel free to carry on watching the video, slap a like on it if you enjoy, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. We all know there's not too many new features for career mode this year. There are some small things that I will talk about in this video, but I also want to talk about the AI and other little things that seem a little bit less frustrating than they were in FIFA 18 career mode, to just give you guys a grasp as to how long you're likely to be playing this game mode over the course of the year. Now, FIFA 18 career mode for me was a bit of a weird one, because obviously it was a bit of a game changer in the sense that they did add some new stuff to the game. We obviously got cutscenes and a new transfer system, which was very nice and very fresh at the time. However, as the game went on, for me personally, I found it more and more frustrating. The AI were very easy, well, probably the easiest they've been in a very long time. They play horrendously against small teams and play really well against big teams, or all of that sort of jazz. There seems to be two different difficulties. World Class was better than Legendary, and it was just a complete mess by the end of it. So I will talk to you about some of the things that are improved in FIFA 19 career mode comparatively. First of all, there are some small changes. Obviously, we know the one that is billed as the major one is the fact that the Champions League is in the game. You're seeing, of course, some gameplay of that in the background. But for me, and for a lot of career mode players, obviously, the Champions League licensing is not a career mode feature. It's a feature for the game. You know, I'm one to think that licenses are features, because to me, licensing is quite important. If you get a team or a league licensed in a game, then I think it's just automatically better. I don't want to play as Liverpool and then not actually Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? They don't have the kits, or they don't have the name, or they don't even have the players necessarily. So I do like the fact that the Champions League is licensed in FIFA 19 and it looks great. However, it just isn't a feature, I'm sorry, and I think a lot of people at EA were starting to understand that. It really, just that on its own is not a feature for career mode, because it's not a career mode only change. It doesn't show effort being put into that specific game mode, but it is nice. I'm not saying I don't care about it, I do. I think it's quite sick, but it's not a career mode feature necessarily. There are some other little changes. The tables look a bit different. They seem a bit like Marmite at the moment. You might have seen it from previous gameplay of mine, but they've changed the way the tables look and the fact that the fixtures are shown on the right-hand side. Personally, I like it, but to be honest, I don't really care enough about it. I'm not going to lie to you, but it, in my opinion, looks a little bit better. And on top of that, youth players are also a little bit more realistic. They look a little bit different. They actually match the preview of the Youth Academy player that you'll have when you look at them in the main menu and all that sort of jazz. So they've been fixed, they've been altered, and at least that's a little bit better and a little bit less amateurish. Obviously, apart from that though, there aren't a huge amount of changes. I did actually do a video that you can see in the top right of the screen that outlaid about 11 little changes to career mode. I'm not going to go through them all in this video because I have, again, already made a video on it. But if you want to go and check that out, feel free to do so. Again, that'll be in the top right of the screen. Now, two major things that have changed that you won't really notice until you played the game. This is the thing. I want to give you my first impressions having played the game. A lot of people are jumping to conclusions and judging career mode off the fact that there isn't any changes. And that's, you know what, you're slightly in your right to do so, because I don't like the fact that there's barely any changes for career mode this year either. And I accept that and I understand that. However, at least it's not all bad news. That's what I will say. It's not all bad news, and it will probably make you want to at least play it. That's my opinion. Anyway, the first of the two things is the AI. The AI are unbelievably different, okay? And I've still seen people in my comment section saying they look too easy. And I don't know what gameplay people are watching, because they're really, really not. And I think a lot of people are failing to understand that in the career mode series that I've been doing on FIFA 19 so far, I'm playing as Liverpool. And Liverpool are a good team, so Liverpool should be winning more games than they lose. It's nothing to do with the fact the AI are bad, it's just the fact that Liverpool are a good team. And if anything, that's good. You want the good teams to still, you want to still be able to pick up more wins than losses as a good team. That was the whole point of FIFA 18, that was the whole reason it was so frustrating, because when you were a big team, the AI would automatically play better than you. Well, first of all, the AI are more difficult. They absolutely are. They're way more clinical in front of goal. The Legendary versus World Class thing is not a thing anymore. Legendary is definitely better than World Class. Ultimate, I haven't actually got a chance to play, but I heard from a couple of people that Ultimate wasn't that much better than Legendary, but just a little bit. So they might want to make the gulf a little bit bigger maybe between Legendary and Ultimate. But apart from that, just generally speaking, I was playing Legendary the entire time, and it was much more difficult than last year. Straight off the bat, the AI was scoring a lot more regularly against me. They were winning games a lot more regularly against me, and generally speaking, they were very clinical in front of goal, mainly in the form of first-time shots. If you get an AI player and they're about to volley one in, it's going top bins. That is one thing that I will say is massively overpowered, but it makes the game more difficult. It makes the AI more clinical. I did actually see Charney, or Charney Sports, on Twitter actually mention that it needs to be nerfed. And I was a bit torn because although it's unrealistic that they are pretty much scoring about 90% of first-time shots, wherever they are from, like literally they could be from like 25, 30 yards and they're still going in, it does make the game more difficult. And we've been crying out for the AI to be more difficult for about 2 FIFAs, 3 FIFAs maybe even now, and EA have made them more difficult, and we're all calling for them to be nerfed in a certain department. So I understand it's not massively realistic, but sometimes you've got to balance the realism to the actual difficulty of the game, and personally I would rather it be more difficult at the risk of losing a little bit of realism. To be honest with you, everyone cries about realism all the time and then wonders why the game isn't fun or why the game isn't difficult or all these other sorts of things. Personally, I am begging and praying EA don't actually patch this game. Please, for the love of God, don't patch this AI. This AI are difficult and they actually attack you. They could still do a bit better in that sense, but the fact that they're very clinical in front of goal. They probably create about twice as many chances as they did on FIFA 18 though, which is good, but they could still be a little bit better in that sense. However, I will take it right now. They also don't underestimate you when you're a small team. One of my friends, Cutsy, was also at the event and he was using like a 65 rated team in the Premier League, and the AI weren't particularly playing weakened sides against him. They weren't particularly just playing badly just because you were using a small team, and that's one thing that's been a huge issue on FIFA 19. It would make Road to Glory far, far too easy and far too unrealistic. So that, in my opinion, is one thing that's changed, and one thing that I noticed as well playing as a big team, the small teams don't suddenly play like Barcelona against you, which is really nice. Second big thing for me that's a lot less frustrating now on FIFA 19 and makes, career mode a lot more bearable at least, is the transfer system is massively changed and has been overhauled. Not in terms of like as a feature, but it makes a lot more sense now in terms of selling players. I don't think buying players was much of an issue on FIFA 18. I think that was all good, but selling players was far too difficult. You wouldn't get good enough bids, and then they would never leave. Now, 2 of those issues have been fixed. You now get a lot more bids for players. I remember, I think I put, in my Liverpool series, I put Lazar Markovic up for sale. During the course of the transfer window, 10 teams put bids in for him. 10 different teams. One of them even put 2 bids in for him. One at the start of the window and one at the end, which is great because back on FIFA 18, you'd put a player up for sale, you'd struggle to sell them in summer, let alone January. You'd maybe get a bid for them in between transfer windows and then they would leave when a transfer window ended, which didn't really make all that much sense, and you would tend to get more bids outside of the transfer window than inside of the transfer window. That has certainly been fixed now. You get plenty more bids for players, so you have a lot more opportunity to sell them, and in my opinion the bids are a lot more reasonable. The AI are a lot less stingy now, so you can actually get some decent money for the players that you're selling, and money that actually makes sense in comparison to the players that you're selling. However, one thing that really needs to be fixed, and one thing that we did speak to the developers about when we got the chance to, is the fact that the players still break down in terms of transfer talks. They still don't want to leave because they can't agree personal terms. It's far too regular. I tried selling Lazar Markovic in that Liverpool save, and it took about 12 attempts to sell him. However, with other players, it was instant. I sold Gini Wijnaldum in that save with my first bid, with the first bid that I accepted. So I don't know whether it depends on the stature of the player, but overall that needs to be sorted out, because it's ridiculous. Like, if you're trying to get a smaller player off the books, you know, I had bids coming in from like Sporting and Fenerbahce and then another Premier League side. It's like, why aren't you going there? You know, in real life, you would happily move to teams like this. This is probably the best you're going to get me. You're not going to have Manchester United coming in and bidding for you. So it was a little bit frustrating having that happen on such a regular basis. We have talked to the developers. It has been passed on to the career mode team, and hopefully that will be sorted out by the game's full release. First impressions, it's a lot better than FIFA 18. Even though there's like no new features to play and to enjoy, it's a lot less frustrating. The AI are better, the transfer system is better, and there are a couple of new things. However, it still isn't enough. If there was a major thing being added to FIFA this year, it would genuinely be like the best career mode we've had in quite some time. For the last 5 years, for sure. But the fact there's no big new features does bring it down. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and sing the praises of the game fully, you know, 100%. I prefer it. I prefer the gameplay. I prefer the transfer system this year. And overall, I prefer it to FIFA 18 career mode. But it's still not enough. It's still not what we expect as a community. I hope, though, that will dampen some of the fears that people had that it was going to be completely stale and completely the same. I legitimately did actually enjoy playing the game, which is crucial because I haven't really enjoyed playing FIFA 18 or FIFA 17, but I sat down and I enjoyed it. You can score better goals, it's a lot more difficult, and generally speaking, it's more enjoyable to play. If you enjoyed this video though, slap a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, both when you've not played the game and also if you want to come back to the video once you have played it, then again, feel free to do so. Drop it down in the comment section below. Apart from that though, it has been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.